Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do your What's Cracking for Thursday the 13th of December. I know that cup will get in my way, so we'll move it now. I have my cup of tea, folks, so I'm joining you all this morning. Hope you've had a good week so far. I think we only have around about a week and a half till Christmas now, so looking forward to a nice break. I won't do a What's Cracking on Christmas Day though, but I'll probably do one the day before and the day after, because I'll head down to see all of my family on Christmas Day, so it'll be a very early start. I have to be there for all the littlest to open their presents and they'll wait for me. Okie dokie. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. We continue to grow. It's awesome. Loving every moment of the journey. Loving having the conversations with you guys. Many of you now come to me for personal readings and it's beautiful. What else can I say? I'm still very inspired by doing this, so I will continue. Weeklies will be up on the weekend if you're looking out for them. Monthlies, I probably will do those between Christmas and New Year, so for the January ones. I thought of doing some 2019, but I just, I don't know if they'd be valuable. I think it was nice to look ahead, but sometimes I listen to them and think, I don't know if I want to go that far ahead. But anyway, let's see how we go. I'll go by where I'm led. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, the cards are all higgledy-piggledy. This came in upside down. So that's the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords can be a strange card. It can talk about deceit, thieving, stealing away in the night, not being able to carry everything with you, trying to sneak away with all your thoughts and ideas and not being able to carry them all. Sometimes it can be that sort of card. Now, it's just coming upside down, so it might mean that you've encountered this or something like this has happened, but it's done. Maybe you've learned from this. Maybe you've been able to take what you've learned from this situation. But we'll see how it fits in the rest of the reading. Now, the first card I have out is the card of Death. Now, the Death card talks about transformation. It can be the card of Scorpio, but this is about letting something about yourself die that is no longer any good for you, something you don't need. Everybody's doing transformational work at the moment, so that would make sense. Okay, so I have then the Five of Wands. Now, the Five of Wands has come out quite a lot over the last few days. It's a card of, can be a card of bickering, but can be also a card of internal conflict. So it's that whole, you know, shall I, shan't I, do I, don't I, that type of thing. You know, wanting to do something but it conflicting with your personal ethics. Okay, and then I have the Three of Cups here. Now, the Three of Cups talks of celebration, celebrating with family and friends. Sometimes it can be reunion, but that's sort of the feeling of this card. It's usually a good fun card. Sometimes it does come up when there is a third party around, but not all the time. Okay, and then we have the Six of Cups here. Now, the Six of Cups talks about reminiscing, memories of childhood, things from the past, nostalgia, feeling like a child again, going back to your childhood. Okay, and then I have the Emperor here. Now, the Emperor is a man who, he is pretty special. He's very much at the top of his game. He's like all the kings rolled into one. He has the best of everything. He's also representative of the twin flame journey and where you would be once you meet your twin flame. So this is what you're aspiring to be, the best you can be. Okay, and then we have an Ace of Wands. Now, an Ace of Wands talks about a brand new passionate start. It's a beautiful card of passion. It's a card of the fire signs, a brand new journey coming up here for many of you. With someone new, I'd say. Okay, and then we have the Nine of Wands. Now, the Nine of Wands is the card of the Wounded Warrior. It's the card of, like, he's looking very vulnerable and putting himself down in front of everybody here, and he's left his wands behind him. So it's almost like, okay, you need to have boundaries, but you also need to show your vulnerability. Having boundaries to cut people off altogether is not the right way to go. So it's sort of about understanding how to be vulnerable, but also protect yourself. It's a very thin line here. Okay, and then we have the Fool here. So we're talking brand new start, leap of faith, something coming in for some of you. I'm just going to do a recap at this point because it's sort of a little higgledy-piggledy here, especially with that Seven of Swords at the beginning. Now, there's some transformational energy here. There is something that you've let die, something that hasn't served you anymore. It could possibly be in relation to that Seven of Swords. So maybe because he's got the swords and he's stealing away, maybe there's some aspects of you in your thinking about who you are that you were, in the Seven of Swords, showing that you were sort of holding on to, but maybe you've allowed them to die here. This has caused some inner conflict, without any doubt. Something to do with your past again. We're getting this a lot lately. Something to do with your childhood. Something about your family. But what you've done is you've allowed it to you've released it. You've let it go. Some of you are doing some incredibly good work here. And you've been able to let this go. Because I see you being able to celebrate the fact that you've been able to let it go. Now, there's somebody new coming in here. There's a new journey here. And the universe is saying, it's okay to put your boundaries in place, but still remember you still have to show your heart. You can't be overprotective of yourself and not let people in. So there's a bit of a lesson here for a lot of you starting new journeys with new people. Now, this could be a twin flame energy here. Haven't got much else to say it's twin flame, but let's say it's possible with the Six of Cups. There's a lesson here that says, you need to have boundaries up. You need to protect who you are. Absolutely. You need to be able to say to people, I'm not putting up with that, which a lot of us are not good at, which a lot of us are now going to be great at, I might add. But it's also about being vulnerable. It's also about being able to show your heart and love someone, but also keep your own self intact. So this is very much along the theme of what we've been going through this last couple of weeks around understanding the equal give and take. And this card in the Nine of Wands is really standing out for me today because I think what Spirit is trying to say is, you can have a new start here. This is about a leap of faith. It is a possibility that you're starting with someone brand new. This could be anything too, not just a love relationship here. This could be about family. It can be about friends. It doesn't matter. The idea here is when you start off a relationship with someone, you don't be a doormat for them. We're not supposed to be doormats for people. If people are taking advantage of us, then that's our problem because we haven't put that boundary in. So if you're saying yes all the time to someone and you're always doing something for someone, then maybe you need to turn around sometimes and say, well, you know what, that doesn't suit me today. I have seen people be absolute martyrs to this and absolutely get walked all over. Somebody turned around one day on one of my video clips and said, yeah, but you've got to do stuff for your children. Be sensible here, folks. I'm not talking about your children, but even your children need boundaries. I'm sorry. There are boundaries here for children as well. So there's sometimes when you need to say to your children, no, you can't have your iPad. You've got visitors. Or no, you can't watch television. It's time to do your homework. They're boundaries and they're healthy. But what it's saying here is that you need to learn the balance of love with those boundaries. Because in order to have a very passionate new start, you've got to start on level footing with someone. And level footing is really important because if you don't do that, the relationship becomes one-sided, then it becomes toxic, and then it's not any good anymore. So if you find that you're going into some sort of relationship with someone, whether that be a family member, a friend, a lover, and they come, every time they come to see you, they come an hour late, at what point do you turn around and go, well, you know what, this ain't suiting me here? You know, either you come on time or I'm not going out with you. That's okay. You know, somebody told me once I was being rude by saying that. Well, if you're worried about me being rude, you can't be that interested in being with me, can you? Because you're the one being rude by coming late all the time. You're just deflecting that energy on me, basically. So there's a brand new start here, but the universe is saying, please make sure that you keep your boundaries firm, even though you're loving someone. And then we have the Five of Pentacles here. So the Five of Pentacles talks about being left out in the cold. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles, which talks about abundance. So this is a message around understanding your own value in a relationship. It looks like something's coming in here, some sort of possibility to have some sort of brand new start here with someone. There's a leap of faith here. There's a person that is represented by the Emperor, so it could be any star sign, because the Emperor can represent anybody. That, I mean, he comes up as the Aries, but really what he's talking about is a person who's reached that level of their life where they're in their element, as I always say. And I know people say, what do you mean your element? Well, that's what the Wands, Pentacles, Cups, and Wands, Pentacles, Cups, and oh my goodness, Swords. They're your elements. Your sun sign is your elements. Ten of Pentacles here at the front talks about actually achieving abundance. So I think for some of you, this Five of Pentacles is about coming out of this feeling of being left in the cold and being able to move towards abundance here. So you just need to learn how to love yourself and respect yourself. It's so very evident in this card. I know in this here, it's sort of like this is conflicting for some of you, trying to understand how you can have boundaries in place and how you can love someone. And I do get funny questions like that on the videos here, where people are not quite understanding the journey yet, and that's okay. You may just be at a different stage in the journey, and this whole reading here is about loving and respecting yourself, understanding that if you want a new start with someone, if you've been feeling this sort of out in the cold, lonely sort of feeling and you want to have a new start, then this is about working on understanding what your boundaries mean in a relationship and how you can enforce them, how you can put them in place. Okay, what have we got? Okay, so we have true, and it says, yes, what you're asking for is the truth. So the truth is you need to be true to who you are. You need to be true to yourself. If you're spending your life constantly doing things for other people, it's not what you're here for. Yeah, sure, you can do some things. We all like to help each other out. It's really important to do, you know, the favours for people, help people out, do what you do. But don't make your whole life dedicated to that, because then you become a martyr and you start to disappear in amongst all that. And that's what this is saying. If you want abundance and you don't want to be feeling like you're left out in the cold all the time, this is your learning around self-respect, self-preservation, understanding you're not a doormat. Have a great day, everyone.